Welcome to the tutorial on the supporting detail in SpEx. Your job as you watch this tutorial is to take notes that will then be studied, and you're going to retake the quiz that you took the other day to redefine what is the purpose of a supporting detail in a SpEx. If you don't pass the quiz, there will be another tutorial to follow up, and we'll continue on this path until you feel confident with understanding the difference between a supporting detail and a SpEx. So the first question on the quiz was, what is the purpose of a supporting detail statement? And in your notes, what I'd like you to write down right now is that it's a bridge from the thesis to the SpEx. It narrows the reader's focus with a simple fact introduction or a bias statement introduction. And I should add that word in. And basically, what that means is I wanted to kind of give you an example below. So say, for instance, you're writing an essay and one of your focus of your essay is Athens was an amazing city-state. This thesis is an overarching argument. It has opinion because I put the word amazing in, but it's very broad. There's so much that you can say about a city-state that would prove that it's amazing. So what a supporting detail does, imagine like a funnel. The thesis is at the top and the funnel of the supporting detail narrows the reader down to something that you're going to talk about to prove that Athens was an amazing city-state. So as an example, one of the categories that can prove the amazingness of a place is its government. So a statement that I created was, Athens' government was one of the factors that made the city-state great. What I've done is I've built a bridge from my thesis to introducing what my fact will be about. As the reader, when I see the supporting detail statement, I then understand that my SpEx should be about a fact about the Athenian government that would prove that it's great. Remember though, your SpEx cannot be biased, but your supporting detail can have bias. By putting the word great in, I've shown bias. And when I give the fact, I'm then putting my fact into context. And I'm going to talk about a fact below that you could use to support this idea. Okay, so once again, please make sure you're taking notes on this. And when you go to take the quiz, this is what I'm going to expect you to remember. Going on to question 2, describe the difference between a fact and a SpEx. So what I've done, I want you to copy this down. A fact is a simple, vague statement that would have a citation. And an example would be, Athens was a city-state in Greece. That's a fact. You can't argue that. It was true. And you notice there is a citation. The problem is, as the reader, the reason why in social studies we wouldn't want this as a fact for an essay is because it's way too vague. The question that I would ask is, what is a city-state? What's so important about Athens? Why aren't we talking about other city-states? What did Athens have that makes it a city-state that I care about? So the problem with just saying fact is that this is too vague, too simple. It lacks what is a specific detail. So the next thing I'd like you to write down, a SpEx as defined is a detailed fact that can have statistics, dates, names, actions, event, where an event happened, who a person is, describing a battle, why it occurred, the outcome of the battle. It has a lot of detail. And when you write in your essay, your specific examples might be multiple sentences. So you have to keep that in mind. So as an example, I put the Athenian government was a direct democracy that allowed all male citizens to have a say in the government on a daily basis by meeting in the assembly. Right there, I've specified, I'm talking about the government, what kind of government they had, and I've even given an action of what the male citizens did on a daily basis, and I named a group in their government. So with this fact, you could actually take this as your fact above here. And what I've done now is I've put it into context. Their government was great, and here's the fact that would prove their greatness. My fact doesn't have any bias in it, but by putting the supporting detail before it, I'm providing the reader an understanding of why I chose this fact. Okay? So once again, make sure you've written that down. Finally, the last question of the quiz asks you to put a circle or a square around the supporting detail and a circle around the specific example. What you should have done is put a circle around A and a square around B, which most of you actually did correct. The problem was when you did your explanation. You can't simply say A explains more. I want you to tell me how. How does it explain more? You would say, as a reader, when I give you your second quiz, it will be 2 different sentences, but you're going to need to tell me specifically. From A, I can determine that women did not have full political rights, so it gives me a detail about an event or an action. I also know that slaves didn't have a right in Athens, which is also a very detailed statement. Whereas B was an open, vague bridge that would have introduced A. Some of you almost got there and you just needed to finish your final thoughts. Make sure on the second quiz that you do that, because remember, I can't read your mind. I can only read what's on the paper. All right, so what I'm going to expect from you when you take the quiz is that you have copied the notes down for supporting detail and SpEx, and you turn those in as soon as you take the quiz. All right, all the best. Take care. Bye.